I never thought my hobby of photography would lead me down such a dark path. It started innocently enough when I moved into the old Victorian house on Maple Street. The real estate agent had given me a great deal, mentioning only briefly that the previous owner had passed away. At the time, I was too excited about the bay windows and wraparound porch to ask questions. My name is Joe Evans, and I'm a freelance graphic designer who loves taking photos in my spare time. The house's location at the edge of town, where the manicured lawns give way to wild meadows, seemed perfect for my nature photography. Every morning, I would walk through the dewy grass, capturing the sunrise through my camera lens. The first strange photo appeared 3 weeks after I moved in. I was reviewing pictures from my morning walk when I noticed something odd in one of the meadow shots. There was a figure in the background, a tall, thin man wearing what looked like an old-fashioned suit. I squinted at the screen, confused. I knew I had been alone that morning. The meadow was private property, and I would have noticed another person. The turning point came when I discovered an old shoebox in the attic. I had been storing some of my camera equipment up there when I noticed a loose floorboard. Hidden underneath were hundreds of photographs, all yellowed with age. They showed various scenes around town, spanning what looked like decades. But what made my blood run cold was that in every single one, there was the same man in the background, wearing the same suit. I dismissed it as a trick of light and shadow, the way tall grass can sometimes look like something else in photographs. But then, it happened again. And again. The man appeared in more of my photos, always in the background, always slightly out of focus, always wearing the same dark suit. Sometimes he would be standing among trees, other times beside my garden fence, and once, terrifyingly, looking out from my own kitchen window, in a shot I took of the backyard. The weather turned stormy as autumn approached, but I couldn't stop taking pictures. I felt compelled to document everything, searching for the mysterious figure in each shot. My hands would shake as I reviewed the photos on my computer, both dreading and hoping to see him. The rational part of my mind tried to explain it away. Maybe it was a camera malfunction, or perhaps someone was playing an elaborate prank. My research into the house's history became an obsession. I spent hours at the local library scrolling through microfiche records and old newspapers. That's where I found the article from 1967. Local photographer found dead in home dark room. The story was about Edward Blackwood, a reclusive photographer who had lived in my house. He had been discovered surrounded by thousands of photographs after neighbors reported a strange smell. The article mentioned something that made my skin crawl. All of Blackwood's photos contained the same mysterious figure in the background, a man no one could identify. Blackwood had claimed the man had been following him for years, appearing in every picture he took. Everyone thought he was paranoid, delusional. They said he died from exposure to darkroom chemicals, but the article hinted at suicide. The more I learned about Blackwood, the more parallels I saw between us. He had started as a nature photographer too, before becoming obsessed with capturing the mysterious figure. His journal entries, which I found in the County Historical Society's archives, described the same compulsion I was feeling, the need to keep taking pictures, hoping to understand who or what was following him. One rainy night, while reviewing my latest photos, I noticed something different. The figure was closer to the camera than ever before, and for the first time, I could make out his face clearly. My heart nearly stopped. It was Edward Blackwood himself, looking exactly as he did in the newspaper photo from 1967, complete with his signature wire-rimmed glasses and stern expression. But that wasn't the most terrifying part. In the photo, Blackwood wasn't looking at the camera. He was pointing behind me. With trembling hands, I took another picture of my empty room. When I checked the image, I saw a second figure standing directly behind where I sat. This one was different. Emaciated, twisted, with hollow black eyes and a grotesque smile. It was the same entity that had stalked Blackwood, the one that had driven him to his death. I understood then what had really happened. Blackwood hadn't been crazy. He had discovered something through his photography, a door between our world and somewhere else. The entity had used him, fed off his obsession with capturing it on film until it had driven him to take his own life. Now it was using Blackwood's image to lure me down the same path. The photos in my camera started changing. Old pictures I had taken weeks ago now showed both Blackwood and the entity, getting closer and closer to the foreground. They were rewriting history, creating a new reality through my lens. I tried destroying my cameras, but every electronic device with a lens, my phone, my laptop's webcam, even the security cameras at work, captured them. I'm writing this now because I finally discovered the truth, and it's more horrifying than I could have imagined. Last night, I found Blackwood's last journal entry hidden inside my bedroom wall. In it, he revealed that the entity doesn't just appear in photographs. It uses them as a gateway. Each time someone photographs it, the barrier between our world and its realm becomes thinner. Blackwood didn't die from chemicals or suicide. The entity pulled him through one of his own photographs. The plot twist that changed everything came when I decided to photograph myself. I thought if I could document what was happening to me, someone might understand and stop this cycle. But when I looked at that final self-portrait, I saw something that made me question everything I thought I knew. In the photo, I wasn't alone. There were dozens of figures behind me, all photographers from different eras, all trapped in an endless loop of capturing and being captured. And in the front row, I saw myself, not as I am now, but as I appeared in photos from months ago, standing alongside Blackwood. That's when I realized the horrible truth. I didn't move into this house 3 months ago. I've been here for decades, reliving the same story over and over, each time forgetting the previous cycle. Every time I think I'm discovering the truth about Blackwood, I'm actually uncovering my own past. The entity doesn't just trap photographers. It traps time itself, creating an infinite loop of horror where we're all both the observers and the observed. As I write this, I can see my reflection in the computer screen growing fainter. Soon, I'll forget everything again. And a new Joe Evans will move into this house, find a strange figure in his photos, and begin the cycle anew. The only difference is that somewhere, in another photograph, another version of me is watching, waiting, and pointing behind him, trying to warn him about what stands in the shadows, camera in hand, ready to capture another soul in its endless dark room. The entity doesn't want to kill us. That would be too simple, too merciful. What it craves is perpetual witness to our horror, our moment of understanding stretched out into infinity. Each of us becomes another print in its collection, carefully preserved in the darkness of its realm. I see that now. As my hands grow transparent, my thoughts becoming hazy around the edges. In a few hours, a new Joe Evans will unlock the front door of this house, marveling at the bay windows and wraparound porch, his camera already in hand. He'll be full of dreams about morning photography sessions in the meadow, blissfully unaware that his images are already hanging in the entity's gallery. And I'll be there too, watching from the background of his photographs. Another dark figure in an old house caught forever in that terrible moment between understanding and forgetting. We are its masterpiece, an endless spiral of photographers capturing each other across time, each flash of the camera strengthening the bars of our eternal prison. In the end, we were never the ones taking pictures. We were always just part of the composition, arranged by something that has been perfecting this image since the first camera threw shadows on the wall.